What's up, guys? I am about to leave the house to go to my surgery appointment. This is the first time I've left the house since the surgery last Friday. So because I'm on painkillers, I'm being a responsible adult and I am gonna actually take an Uber down to the hospital. So I'm heading there now. So see you there. Just got to the clinic, gonna get checked in here in a little bit and we'll see what the doctor says. In the exam room, waiting. Feels good to only have this on and not the ice machine. Feels like being a normal person almost. What's up, guys? I am back. I didn't get a chance to record after I got home from the doctor yesterday, so I am recording today. So I'm going to tell you actually about day 6 and day 7 coming post Latarjet surgery procedure for shoulder stabilization. So when I got to the doctor, I waited and I was actually surprised they didn't have me take an x-ray. Usually at my clinic, what you do is you go in, you wait a little bit, they send you for an x-ray, you get x-ray, and then the doctor has the x-ray right there, to look at for whatever you're getting checked out. He didn't ask for an x-ray. I even double checked. I was like, are you sure you didn't want an x-ray? I guess they didn't want an x-ray. So for this one, so I was a little bit surprised by that. For those who don't know, surgeons, they're a million miles an hour. So I only got to talk to the doc for, like 5 minutes. But he came in and he said, how's your pain? And I said, it's not been so bad. I kind of talked about some of the jolting things that I experienced, some of the elbow pain. First thing he said is, just so you know, next 5 weeks, you'll be wearing the sling, but I only want you to wear it 50% of the time. And that was really confusing to me because I mean, almost everything I had seen on the internet and everything for Latarjet surgery said you're going to be in a sling 4 to 6 weeks. He said, I only want you to wear it 50% of the time. And I said, oh, well, 50% of the time, what does that mean? He said, well, I want you to, if you're just sitting around and you're sitting at your desk and you're not doing anything, you don't have to wear your sling. And I was kind of shocked by that. He said, but if you're out, in public and you're interacting with other people or you're out in crowds, I want you to wear that sling. Okay. So he said, about 50% of the day, if you're at home, don't wear it. Out and about, wear it. Okay. So I was surprised by that because I had almost never seen that anywhere on my research. But what I found was this article about mobilization versus immobilization post Latarjet surgery. I'll show you the article right here. And it actually shows that some people who didn't wear the sling as much, kind of didn't have it immobilized, actually ended up with greater shoulder mobility in the end. So I assume that's kind of the research that he's looking at and why he's saying that. So if you notice right now, I am not wearing my sling. So still can't move it that great, but if you look here, you can see my other hand right there. So out of the sling, so I'm just wearing the ice machine right now to keep the pain down. Okay. So, a couple of things. I had messaged my doctor about my elbow pain, and part of that was just from being in the sling for such a long period of time. And he did two things. One thing is he adjusted my sling. I get apparently I didn't have the pillow kind of correct. I needed it higher up. And when you wear the pillow higher up, your arm gets extended a little bit more. And that kind of hurt. When he adjusted that, I was not ready to put my arm kind of farther out. And I could tell that I was hurting a little bit later just from the adjustment and keeping it like that. So just so you know, if you adjust your sling a lot, you're gonna feel it later on. So felt a little pain with that. Now the other thing I asked for his help with is he had said, bend your arm straight. Well, I was kind of afraid to do that. I had tried to do it in the shower and I just felt like it was so rickety and I couldn't really get it all the way. And so one thing that was cool is he was willing to kind of help me with that process. And so I'll show you what he said that I'm allowed to do. And I'm going to stand up so that I can show you guys how this works. And I'm still pretty tender. But basically what he said is you can move your arm down and just kind of let gravity do it. And what he said to avoid is don't do this with your hand. He said, if you're going to raise your arm up, lift it with your other hand. And I said, okay, well, why do you want to do that? Are you like into the robot or something? And what he said is that we don't want your bicep muscle flexing too much post surgery. So he said, if you're going to let it fall slowly with gravity. If you're going to have it come back up, pick it up with the other hand. So that's a weird thing to get used to doing, not a very natural thing. So I've already caught myself a few times today, just not paying attention and lifting my arm kind of normally as I've had the sling off. But I imagine most people do that because how could you lift your hand with the other hand all the time. Seems kind of impossible. But so soreness was up today because the I was just not at all ready to keep it on the sling. I tried doing it for about 3, 4 hours while I was working today. Just got tired. I mean, just got sore. So about 4 o'clock today. So I wore the sling from about 8 to noon, noon to 4, didn't wear the sling, was exhausted with it. Shoulder was getting really sore, even with the ice machine on. Put it back on from 4 till about 7. Now it's about 7 o'clock, and I took it off again for the video, and it's feeling okay. Part of that is I'm on more painkillers, like within the last 2 hours, so it's helping a little bit with that. But my elbow pain has gone away almost completely since I've been able to bend my arm. So that's really nice and really helpful. And it definitely makes you feel normal because now there's parts of the day where I have nothing, no equipment on or anything. But it's still a little bit scary walking around and movements that you make. So, I still find myself kind of holding my arm close to my body if I'm walking or anything. But if I'm just sitting here, I mean, yeah. But yeah, it definitely doesn't feel normal. It definitely doesn't feel natural. I mean, I feel weirdness kind of all in this area, like even leaning back just now, it almost feels like there's like a pulling that's kind of going on in there or something. So yeah, my coracoid is pulling that tendon. I have no idea, but it's something is off a little bit. So okay, so that's what happened at the doctor. So I am now 1 week into healing. And the other thing he said that I thought was it was cool was he said, let's go ahead and start PT. One thing he had mentioned was that you may want to go to PT less at the beginning and more later on. He said it depends on your insurance. He said at the beginning, there's just not a lot they can do for you in PT because you're healing. So he said, if you go once a week at the beginning and kind of ramp it up after that, but it's up to you. But he said, imperative, whatever they show you that you're doing home every day. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. I'll give you guys some updates showing some of the exercises I get when I learn them. But my PT appointment is going to be next week on Tuesday. So I'm getting started right away. One thing I will tell you, if you're in a big city like I am in Dallas, it is tough to get into PT. The first place I called, the first like one of our clinics in the hospital system, they said they weren't going to be able to get me in until February 21st, which was almost 4 weeks. And I explained it. I was like, I have to get in. I mean, this is like there's a protocol you have to do for PT to heal from this. I mean, you can't just start a month later. And they just said there's nothing we can do. So luckily one of the other clinics in the hospital, in my hospital system, there's different hospitals around, and I was able to get in a different place on Tuesday. So be getting checked out. I'll give you guys an update, of course, then, but we'll see. This is my first weekend that is not right after surgery. So we're going to see how that goes with wearing the sling 50% of the time. And everything's feeling pretty good, though. Overall, feels like, I mean, just worlds better than a week ago. When I was Saturday and Sunday last week is just tough, versus right now not normal, but I mean, I would say on a scale from 1 to 100 of what my shoulder feels like, it was feeling like it was a 5% out of 100. Now I'd say it's feeling more like a 20% out of 100. So that's a big improvement. So, okay, that is it for my update, guys. And I will see you again with the next update. All right, talk to you later. Bye bye.